Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a game that I had in the New York, the Tier 5 American battleship. I'm playing by myself on the EU server, and it's some domination here on the map Strait. So, on my EU account, I'm currently grinding up the American battleship line, and I wanted to get some gameplay of each of the ships as I progress up the tech tree. Now, don't mind the British camo on it. I'm just trying to get some extra XP and captain's experience, so please, I beg your pardon. I know it's a kind of a meme, but I've really enjoyed going back and playing some of the old ship classes, the old ship lines that I started playing when I first picked up this game back in 2016. And the American battleships, along with the German cruisers and the Japanese destroyers, were my first three lines that I grinded up. So it's actually been kind of fun to go back and play these things. And boy, oh boy, have they come a long way, especially the New York. This thing used to be a turd. I'm sure plenty of the old guard out there remember the good old days, if you want to call it that, where enemy Murmansks were just railing you with BFT and AFT, and they were sitting at range, stealth firing, and you didn't even have the range on the main battery guns to be able to reply back to them. But the New York has come a long way, and my impressions of it now, it's still a pretty good Tier 5 battleship. It's nothing special, it's certainly nothing Soviet, but it's not a turd like it used to be. It's a pretty good battleship, and it kind of gives you a good idea of how to play the mid-tier American battleships. This is the first one that really gives you pretty much what the American line is made of, and hopefully this gameplay that you guys see here today will help showcase that. Now, the New York has 10 14-inch guns. It's some of the most impressive firepower for its tier, and it does have some pretty good belt armor. The ship is also very small and compact, and it has almost 50,000 hit points, so it is pretty tanky, and it is rather maneuverable for its tier as well, so you can quickly open up your broadside to shoot your guns and then get back to an angled position. However, this ship does have some incredibly slow turret traverse. It's a facet that you'll have to deal with already with the Wyoming at Tier 4, and this doesn't really change until you get to the North Carolina at Tier 8, so very sluggish turret traverse. The ship also has mediocre at best concealment, 14 kilometers. It's not really going to do you many favors, but to be fair, at this tier, concealment really isn't that big of a deal. And overall, it does have more strengths than weaknesses, but there is one big critical weakness with the ship. The bow and the stern armor is extremely fragile, and most of the battleships that you can face, both below your tier, at your tier, and certainly above your tier, are able to go right through your nose or go right through your stern. And this thing also has some pretty shaky plating above the belt armor, so you're going to see a couple of occasions in this game where I'm angled relatively well, and I'm still going to eat lots of damage. Now, this enemy V-170 has made an interesting play. He's at 2,400 hit points. Unfortunately, at 6 kilometers, I'm only able to land one shell on target, and that was one of the hardest things, getting back into these low-tier BBs. After playing ships like Montana, Yamato, testing the Pobeda on my NA account, looking at the dispersion and the accuracy of these low-tier BBs certainly leaves a lot to be desired, and it's just certainly a time or two playing this ship, I thought to myself, I'm surprised I didn't register any hits. Well, yeah, you just got to deal with it. You can see that dispersion is a little bit bad, but I do get one overpen for 1030, and then the Giulio manages to kill off that V-170. So far, only 6,000 damage, nothing special. I've taken a little bit of damage as well. You saw that October Revolution shoot at me, and a couple of shells came in and penetrated the top part of the deck, and I took about 6,000 points of damage. That's another weakness that this ship has. It is very susceptible to long-range fire because the shells have enough of an angle to be able to not only penetrate the top part above the belt where the plating is, but also come through the weak parts of the deck. So it's very unfortunate. However, right there, a great shot right into that October Revolution. 14,000 damage and change with one Citadel. These 14-inch guns are very good performers if they manage to hit the target. And medium range is the best way to take advantage of the New York. Anywhere from 9 to about 14 kilometers is, in my opinion, the best range to be utilizing these guns. Now, that does not mean that you shouldn't shoot at targets that are far away up to your maximum range. Absolutely pull the trigger. But the most consistent results come at these ranges as I manage another big meaty salvo into that guy. So 2 salvos in a row, and I've done about 28,000 points of damage to him. And of course, he has to turn away. So great example right there. That's textbook New York range and shooting, and when the guns do behave, being able to get those very good juicy penetrations right into the side of the enemy battleships. Now again, you're going to see here, I am angled pretty nicely, but when these shells do hit me, there's not a lot of really good armor on this ship. And as I turn around here, you're going to see another example of that. When you can see that the New Yorks are coming this way, they're going to get some good shells into me. So you got to deal with that. Now at this point, it's 228 to 340. We've lost 3 ships. The enemy team has only lost 2. Our Isakazi is over there in the vicinity of the C objective trying to do the best that he can. But unfortunately, there's another Isakazi over there, and he's really not going to be able to start securing that cap for our team at any point here in the near future. So we're in a little bit of a pickle. The guy that's all the way to the north at A5, our friendly Koenig, is going to be going down here relatively shortly as he's in a 3 versus 1 situation. So this game is not looking very good, and really what it'll take for the enemy team to help us come back is for them to be way too over-aggressive. Now, again, that concealment that you have 14 kilometers is not the best. That Isakazi is going to keep me permanently detected for a large portion of this game. So obviously I'm going to have to do my best to change my speed and change my course and direction to try and dodge the shells that are coming in at me. Now I do have to open up full broadside here as I decide that it's now high time to make this turn to port. You can see that I got my full broadside down on Apalaba, however you say that, and I only get 2 shells to land on target, but these enemy BBs are somewhat coming back in towards us, so obviously getting into a kiting position is very important. Now, the elephant in the room, I don't think I mentioned it yet, the speed of the New York, the speed of standard-type battleships as a whole is rather mediocre, about 21, maybe 22 knots with the Sierra Mike flag. It makes these ships very, very difficult to play when the gameplay is very fast-paced. When enemy ships are coming at you, it's much easier to play American battleships because of the number of guns and the relatively decent angles, the relatively decent turret angles, I should say. So that is something to take note of, because there will be games that you will have where basically the enemy team goes heavy to the other side of the map, and you're just not quick enough to get into a good position. Now, this October Revolution opens up a little bit of broadside, but my dispersion on that salvo is extremely poor, and I only get 2 penetrating hits for 4,200 points of damage. However, our guys up north are not going down without a fight, and we've actually temporarily re-secured the points lead for our team, as the enemy team has now lost 4 ships, but now we have lost our 4th as well. I decided to get my spot plane up just to take a quick peek at this October Revolution and see exactly what he's doing. Obviously, for you guys out there that have watched my content for a long time, you know that you can get a lot of good utility out of the spotting aircraft, not just being able to extend your range, but being able to see over islands that you can shoot over, or being able to see with a lot more clarity and detail what speed and what direction the enemy ships are moving at. I knew that October Revolution was turning to the right, but I just wanted to be sure how exactly fast that he is going, because you can clearly see from up here how far back that smoke is coming out of his smokestack. So you can see another great salvo lined up on target with 2 penetrating hits. Unfortunately, I deal 0 damage because that ship is surprisingly tanky when it is in a very good angled position with its stern facing on. There's really not that much superstructure to hit, so you kind of have to get lucky with a shell that might penetrate the stern, but there's really only 2 funnels and a little bit of the conning tower. But once again, you can see as he's running away, the spotting aircraft is really going to help me land these shots right on top and make sure I aim. You can see the last couple salvos, I've landed more than half of the shots on target just being able to look up. I put him down to 470 hit points, which is very, very unfortunate. He's trying to get away. He's obviously not going to be able to get stealthed up as he continues to shoot. So hopefully with this next salvo, I will be able to get the kill secure here on this guy, and then I can start engaging other targets. Now I do open up full broadside to try and get that middle turret going, and I am hopefully going to get the kill. I do not, because Russian armor, Russian bias, whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, a couple pens that deal 0 damage. That crap is one of the most annoying things in this game, bar none. But anyway, I'm now going to get my guns ready to go here on Flashhammer's New York. He's only 9.6 kilometers away, still well within the most effective gunnery ranges for the New York. Shells are going down range. The dispersion looks fantastic. And, oh yeah, 29,000 points of damage with 2 citadels and 4 further full penetrations. That guy ate a lot of damage. And this is the reason why I said about 9 kilometers is as close as you really want to get to other battleships unless your hand is forced. Now you can see here, I kind of make a mistake turning back to the right. That New York Apalala got a really good salvo in on me. So unfortunately I ate a lot more damage than I probably should have, and that is going to cost me later on in this game. But anyway, I digress. 9 kilometers is about the closest that you want to safely get under normal circumstances because the New York does have a very reachable citadel, and since you have to open up so much broadside to be able to use your sea turret, I guess that's what it would be, you're opening up yourself to angles where you will get citadeled, like that guy did. So that's why going into close range combat can be very, very tricky, because if you do not mind your angles, you are going to eat a lot of damage, and then of course, people are going to be able to aim at your nose or your stern at point-blank range and get big hits on you as well. I did manage to kill that AFK French cruiser. Looks like he lagged out, and I get a nice 10k salvo on that enemy New York as I pick up the high caliber. I'm up to 118,000 points of damage, which is absolutely fantastic for any tier 5 battleship, let alone the New York. And also you saw right there that heal. The American battleships, I don't remember how many patches ago, but these things now all get the buffed Colorado heal. So you can get back a lot more hit points than you would have been able to a couple years ago. Another big salvo into that New York, 15,500 damage. And now all of a sudden I have a lot more hit points to work with than him. And you can see, once again, sorry that I'm beating on a dead horse, but both of those salvos came under 14 kilometers, so the kind of golden range that this ship really does excel at. Going for another salvo on him. The dispersion is a little bit worse. You can see that he's trying to angle away, and I think this one's going to be a little bad. Yep, only 1 penetration. Now there is the enemy Isokazi coming at me, and it looks like he's going to try and YOLO me because, of course, I'm kind of a ways away from support. The friendly Isokazi is the only thing that's in relative proximity to my location. However, you can see that that enemy Isokazi is at 7 kilometers, and he is full speed ahead with the speed boost going. I get my last broadside downrange at Apalala as I now switch to high explosive. I really was hoping this would be the kill, but unfortunately now I'm in a very bad situation. Since that New York's guns are going to be able to fire back at me at least one more time, I can also not turn to the left because that island is in the way, and I would open up a full broadside. So what I have to do is try to dodge by slowing down my speed, which I was successfully able to do. And now this Isokazi is only 4 kilometers away. I know he's dropped torpedoes. I aimed slightly above the waterline, and almost all of the salvo lands short of that Japanese destroyer. And this is not an aberration. This will happen to you a lot of the time. Another reason why getting in close with this thing can sometimes be a little bit disadvantageous, because for all intents and purposes that dude should have died. But now, since Apalala did not die, he's able to shoot at me once again, and even though I go full nose on, I still eat some damage. The next salvo looks really good, but I decided to switch back to armor piercing. So as I do pick up the Confederate, I'm not able to get the kill, but now I get my sea turret into play, and fortunately 1 overpen is just enough to finish off that Japanese destroyer. And yeah, but now this New York is going to be able to get another salvo off at me. Some very unlucky RNG. I should have a lot more hit points to work with right now. Even though I did eat a lot of damage when I turned broadside earlier, I should still have a little bit more to work with. I do manage to get the kill, though, as I pick up my 3rd frag of the game, so that's all fine and dandy. But now I am only on 8,000 hit points, and all it's going to take is 3 Langley torpedoes to be able to finish me off, and there also are some rocket planes coming in as well. So I'm going to do the right play right here and turn into the torpedoes. Hopefully he drops too close, and I will be able to have it not arm before it hits me, and that's exactly what happens, literally the last possible second. But then I think that the New York is going to be able to shoot down a few more planes. I took quite a bit from that rocket strike. I do get lit on fire. I only have 15 seconds left until I get my repair back, but then I kind of papega and I turn right into the torpedoes. So unfortunately, that fire that was set is going to kill me off right before I manage to get my repair back. So that ends my game. Now let's go take a look at the post-battle results. Alrighty guys, taking a look at the post-battle results, 437,000 credits received and just over 10,000 total experience earned. This was my first win of the day. I picked up Confederate and High Caliber, dealing 149,000 points of damage off of 81 shell hits. I had 4 citadels, I shot down 11 planes, and I sank 1/4 of the enemy team. Taking a look at the team score, that is very solid for a tier 5 ship, 2,164 base XP, clearly leading my team to victory. A couple of other battleships, the Koenig and the other New York, finishing pretty high on the leaderboard for my team as well. But certainly, I made my presence felt down south by the sea cap. I was able to blap quite a few battleships. I was able to get a kill on the French cruiser, and I was able to get some decent shots on the enemy destroyers as well. So picking my targets correctly, putting myself in good positions, and short of turning broadside and eating about 15,000 damage, I felt like I played that pretty well. And I probably could have gotten the kills on the carriers as well. If I would have not eaten all of that damage, I certainly would have had enough to tank and then let the other CVs go out there and spot for me, but that's okay. This is still a fantastic result. So I got some New Mexico gameplay coming up next week, so yeah, we'll be continuing the grind. I just finished it with the New York now, so I hope you guys come back and enjoy the grind with me. This is the Sneaky Snake for BIA World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, as always, have a great day.